All right. The first thing you should receive is an email from notifications@instructure.com saying you've been invited to participate in a class at MINDS-i Education. The class is called Foundations to Robotics, so that will be depending on what course you have: Foundations, Drones, UAV drones, Mars rover, farming, electric car. It'll have your name, your email. It won't have a username yet because you'll need to register with Canvas before you can participate in the class. So then you want to click the Get Started button. It'll pop up. You can click Create My Account. Do a password. Select your time zone. Agree to terms and service. Click Register. And then you can choose whether you want to save your password or not. It'll pop up with some welcome stuff. How do I set this stuff up? How do I add these options? Change course home page, options available with the course. How do I set the course? Stuff like that. So you can set, like, if you want the main home page to be all of the modules, or if you want it to be, the syllabus or a design page that you made up yourself. So most all of our courses will have this teacher's class information at the beginning of it. This section here is unpublished, so you can see the little strike through here, which means that the students don't see this material. So we start off with IT information. So this will have setup information pertinent to whatever class you're teaching. So in this case, for foundations, we want to make sure that the GitHub and Arduino.cc, both of those web pages are unblocked. And then you want to install the Arduino software. And then once the Arduino software is installed, it'll do the drivers at the same time. You can open the library manager, sketch libraries, manage libraries, download the MINDS-i libraries. And then you can click Next. It'll take you to the next page. So for adding students, once you're logged into Canvas, you can click the People button. It'll take you to the page for people. You can click on Add People, and then it'll pop up with a list like this. The easiest way to do it is to add the students by email address. So you can paste in a whole line with a comma between each of them for pasting all the students. Assign the role student for the section. If you have more than one section set up, you can limit their interaction to just their section only. Click Next. And then this will ask if you want to add a name for each of the students. You don't have to. They can add their own name in with their profile. Click Next if you don't want to add the student names. If you do, it'll show up with student names and say, the following users are ready to be added to the course. Click Add User. It'll send them an email inviting them to the class. And click Next, and then this is the classroom setup / student teams. So in this section, we talk about most of the work in here is going to be group-based work, so you'll want to assign teams, and then we suggest doing random teams. You can go through, and here we can click on the people. And once you have your students in your class, it'll show up with the students in the class. Click on groups, and then student groups. It's going to ask you to click Set the Group. You can set a group based off of, this is period 1 robotics or whatever it happens to be. Split the number of students per group is what we suggest. So we suggest, that 3 to 5 range. And then you can choose setting a random student as group leader, set the first student as group leader, or automatically assign the student group leader if you wanted to. We don't really do any group leader things, but if you wanted to, you could do that. And then click Save, and then it will sort them and group them up based off of a random listing. And then most of the curriculums are student-led progress. So the students will go through the materials on their own pace. They complete the first section, it'll open the next section, complete that section, open the next section, and they go through the materials. But if you wanted to have more direct control over the student progress or make sure everybody's following along at the same time, you can publish and unpublish modules. So it's as simple as clicking on the little green check mark and go unpublish module and all items, or publish modules only. So when you want it to be available, you can publish and unpublish individual lessons or the whole module. It's pretty straightforward. So. And then we have build instructions, parts and inventory, and resource guides. This section is just like digital copies of printed works that will be with the curriculums or with the labs. So for foundations, we have a 4x4 or 6x6 version. And then we have the Arduino user's guide and the Arduino upgrade kit, design journal, and then we have the parts inventories for the labs. So you could print these out and do your inventories at the end of the year. And then for tech support, so we provide tech support by email or phone. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. We have the support at mymindsi.com or the phone number. All that we ask is that if you have a student call, we'd like them to, student name, school, class, product kit they're using, problem or issue that they're having. This just helps with us, better resolving or more quickly resolving your issues. Oh, and then we have battery charging and maintenance. So this section's for the instructor. We're just talking about the difference between the nickel metal hydride batteries with the light poly batteries. And then a video showing a setup with the iMars mini charger or the Profit Sport mini charger. We talk about batteries, USB cables, zip ties, Velcro, considered consumables and have no warranty. That's basically just because, zip ties get cut off all the time. And then the Velcro, stuff like that, gets worn out. USB cables, kids for some reason decide to chew on them. And then you'll go through the rest of the materials. It's every unit will start with a teacher's resource, which will have either a video or a paragraph explaining what you'll be doing in that section. And then you'll have a course objectives for the students, which will be, in this case, an introduction to MINDS-i. It's 3 basic points of what we're going to do in this unit, talking about different abilities or capabilities that they'll be learning about. And then we go through the materials. We'll have pages like this for STEM as a system. This will have the exercise, the learning, whatever, and then we'll have some kind of a test or quiz. An exercise, or the presentation, or a video, and then some kind of a quiz. And it goes through for all of that, and then some of these we have parts and purposes, quizzes, versus a worksheet quiz kind of thing. Just move through all the materials, and then at the end of this one, we have a cleanup section here. So in this section, we have the students disassemble the kits, inventory the parts, sort them back out, and put them away. Copyright and site license, unit outline and pacing guides, standard articulation frameworks are all at the ends of the different units or lessons. So every curriculum will be laid out similarly, different numbers of modules and lessons in each. And then on the side here is where all of your links for everything are. So you can set announcements for the class. You can look at all of the assignments in one place, the discussions in one place, the student grades. So in this case, when I open this, there won't be any students. There won't be any students, but there's all of these exercises. So once there's students in there, and as they complete the exercises, it'll fill in the grades for them. You can import or export. So you can export your current gradebook view or the entire gradebook, and that'll allow you to, save them or submit them into your existing grading system if you need to. Again, people for adding students, or you can add a TA, something like an assistant like that. So clicking on people. So that'll be my fake teacher I added. And then if you add a person, you can assign the role as a student, a teacher, a TA, a designer, or an observer. Pages will list all of the pages, just basically in alphanumeric order. Files, again, just lists all of the files that'll be in the course itself. The syllabus won't populate information properly in here because we don't assign any due dates for the pages themselves. Same thing with the rubric. We don't build in a rubric for it. If you wanted to add a rubric, you can add a rubric. So you could add a rubric if you wanted to. Quizzes, modules, all of that just shows the quizzes that are in here, the modules that are in here. Big blue button. So you can use this for adding conferences. So you could do video conferences or things like that. Collaborations, we don't really generally use the collaborations, but you can add a collaboration zone. You can set up a Google Drive, an Office 365. You can take attendance through here. You can enable or disable the chat. You can look at analytics. So it all depends on what you're trying to do. You can add to each module or add a new module if you wanted to. So like right now, you could click this button to add an assignment, a quiz, a file, a page, a discussion, an external tool or external URL. Or you can add a whole module. You can publish all, unpublish all. Pretty straightforward user interface on this guy. So under settings, there will be some generic course settings. So you can look at course calendar, statistics. You can copy that course. So you could make like a second period of a class if you had a second period of a class. Export the course settings, contents. You can create another section for like a second period or third period. You can arrange your navigation on the side here to be what you want it to be. So you can also, let's say you don't want to do this, you could disable that for students. So if you wanted to disable the chat, you could disable the chat, or you could move it up and down. You can add in apps. There's a whole mess of apps that they have that you can add into it if you wanted to use a specific type of app or specific app that you're already using for any of your curriculum stuff. But so like you got in Dropbox or whatever. Feature stuff, you can do anonymous instructor annotations. This is the kind of more in-depth stuff if you wanted to modify the course. And then right now we don't do any integrations with it. This will tell you like current number of students, teachers, TAs, designers, observers on the side, basic information. But other than that, on the home page, if you wanted to set anything else, you could click into the menu here, and then you can actually edit. So you could change the names of any of the courses or indent or undo the indents. If you click into the course objectives thing, you can go through and edit this in here. And then this is the actual text-based stuff. Only the teachers can edit this. You could assign it from a certain date to a certain date. From a certain date till this time until this date and this time. And then, assign to generally the whole class and then save it. So you could set your dates for your syllabus. And then again, publish and unpublish in each of the modules. And that's kind of an overview of getting started and going through the materials.